Hey guys, your friend Spencer here. I'm in the state of Washington getting ready to do a missions conference to a good church here and some like-minded believers, and it's going to be exciting, see what God will do. But I want to talk to you about non-denominational churches again. Now, I've talked about this several times on my channel, and I want to tell you that non-denominational churches are a lie. They are not non-denominational. That is a total lie. When they say non-denominational, that is a marketing tactic meant to get religious people into churches without the negative connotation of a denominational name. Okay, now there's two ways that people try to play the non-denominational game, and both of them are absolute lies. Now, the first one that they say is that we're non-denominational in our theology. Now, that is a complete crazy thing to say for anybody who knows theology, knows that that's not how this works. Now, there are issues in theology. Now, what is theology? Theology is just a system of belief about God. Now, everybody has a theology. Even evolution is a theology. Atheism is a theology. And Christianity, Islam, everything is a type of theology. So when a person says, I'm Presbyterian, that means that they hold to a certain set of views about God. Whereas a Methodist, they believe God to be a little bit differently. They interpret doctrines of the Bible a little bit differently. And so when a church is saying we're non-denominational, they're literally telling you we don't believe anything systematically about God or theology. Now, that may be true for some churches. That may be very true of them, listening to the songs they sing that are so generic and so vague, it's like nonsense. And then the sermons that they preach are just so generic and vague, it's meant to be like a pep rally for Jesus. But there is no such thing as I am non-denominational. There is no such thing, okay? Matter of fact, most of these churches that claim to be non-denominational actually are a denomination. They just don't want you to know that, okay? For example, and I've said this in another video before, but most non-denominational churches are Southern Baptist. Most of them are. Not all of them, but most non-denominational churches are Southern Baptist. They just don't want you to know that. And I know that because I know these preachers, okay? I'm not just some guy shooting my mouth off with a YouTube channel. I'm in the ministry. I do this full time. I travel the world. I'm in and out of Africa all the time doing ministry work. I'm across coast to coast preaching. And I know what I'm talking about. I speak to these non-denominational pastors. I know them, and I've spoken to them, and that's what they're telling me. For example, there's a good guy I went to high school with in Georgia. He's a great guy, loves the Lord. He's not what I am as far as, certain views in the Bible and music and things like that, but he's a good guy. I think he's a nice guy. He said, last time we talked, I was in Georgia. He said, I'm going to go start a church. And I said, well, what you going to call it? And he named some name. And I said, well, you're a Southern Baptist. Why don't you put the word Baptist on your sign? And he goes, oh, no. He said, we're going to advertise this as a non-denominational church because we don't want to carry any of the negative connotation and any of the emotional baggage from the word Baptist to these people. We don't want the word Baptist to be a hindrance to trying to reach this community for Christ. So we're just going to go under the heading of non-denominational. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, and I told him this, I said, that is deception. You are a Southern Baptist church playing the phrase non-denominational, when the truth is you are a Southern Baptist church. You are a denomination. And when I dig, I find that basically all these non-denominational churches, they're playing the same game, just with a different name. For example, there's one in Gwinnett County, Georgia, where I'm from. It's called 12 Stone. Huge church. You ought to look it up online. Huge church. 12 Stone. Man, people are coming there by the thousands every week. 12 Stone is a Wesleyan church. They are Wesleyan, which is an offshoot of Methodism. They're Wesleyans. They just don't want you to know that. Okay. Now, the other angle that they could play with the non-denominational structure is the theology thing. There is no such thing as non-denominational theology. Please stop insulting my intelligence. I know theology. I know how theology works. There is no such thing as non-denominational. Stop it. Please stop it. I'm calling you out on that. Stop it. Okay. The other angle they could play on that is to say that we are not a part of a denominational hierarchy. Now, that is a little bit more valid, okay? the word for that is not non-denominational, though. The word for that is independent. Now, I'm a member of an independent Baptist church, which means we are a part of no denominational hierarchy. We operate on our own. We fund ourselves. We govern ourselves. Our headquarters is not in Nashville, Tennessee. Our headquarters is in heaven. That technically is non-denominational because we are part of no denominational hierarchy, okay? And the word for that is not non-denominational. The word for that is independent. Now, what we have today is we have people that are saying, we don't believe anything and we're not attached to anybody, when the truth is they generally are attached to somebody. And they're lying to you. Everything about a non-denominational church just isn't so. Stop it. Okay, they're saying we don't believe anything and we're not a part of anything. Well, that's a little weird, don't you think? Don't you think that's a little weird? I think it's a little weird, but what do I know? I'm just a guy with the Bible. But, ladies and gentlemen, non-denominational doesn't mean anything. It's not even factual to even say that. You are something. You classify as something. Most of them are Southern Baptists. They just don't want to tell you they're Baptists. And that should bother you. That would bother me. And the reason they're getting away with it, the reason they're getting away with this con, is because people don't know anything about theology today. They just don't. You ask the average person on the street today, what's the difference between a Presbyterian, a Methodist, and a Baptist? They couldn't tell you. They have no idea. They don't know. And, it's something to consider, okay? And there's a lot of things out there, a lot of more information we can give on this. But just suffice to say, there is no such thing as a non-denominational church. There is no such thing. And these guys that are playing you that way are saying, well, we're just non-denominational. Basically, they're either saying we're not a part of any hierarchy structure in a denomination, which using the word non-denominational is ridiculous in that statement. They just need to say independent. Or they're saying we don't believe anything. And if their theology is so skewed that they don't match up with any of the historically, several dozen denominations, probably 100 denominations that have existed throughout all of Christian history, if their theology is so quirky that they don't fit in any of those categories, then you better be careful, because you're probably dealing with heretics. So, we love you guys. Subscribe to our channel, and we're going to give a lot more good information like this out in the near future. So, God bless you. Thank you very much.